Hey, Dad. It's me.
All right. What's up?
Like, you know how if I didn't pass economics, I wouldn't graduate? But, I took the test today and I did pretty good, so.
All right, kiddo.
Would it still be possible for me to go to Mexico this summer, or?
Yeah, this summer.
Yeah, are you sure that would be okay?
Yeah, I think so. Just gotta get money together, kiddo. You know? Plan on it, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, please.
Yep.
Ya lo hice a la manera gringa. I just have to do sign some papers.
Okay, Dad.
All right, kiddo. I love you, huh?
Okay. I
Bye.
love you too, Dad. Bye.
Bye.
I'll ante up. I'm Terry Real, and like many of you, I had a very complicated relationship with my father. Here's a saying that I like. It came to me one day. I say, each man is a bridge, and he spans the father before him and the children that come after him. And literally, his life is the transition between those 2 points.
I was born in Harlem in 1970, and my parents were really, really active, really, really militant, you know, and they were both in the Communist Party. And so I kind of grew up among a lot of like demonstrations and rallies, you know what I mean? I remember like taking naps in like the communist meeting, you know what I mean, on the bench and shit like that, you know what I mean? What happened to my father, I think, is like something that happens to a lot of people that come out of that era in the 60s, whereas like he really had high expectations of what he wanted to see happen for the world. And I think when a lot of that stuff didn't happen necessarily in the time or the way that they thought, it became really difficult for a lot of people to cope. Harlem was really flooded with drugs around like the late 60s, early 70s, you know, with heroin especially. And he got into that and he just got strung out for a long time. In like 82, he finally kicked the habit and he's been clean ever since, you know. We're trying to reestablish that relationship now to get to the point where like we have more of a history, I think what it is, you know. Hey, babe, it's Will here, what's going on? I'm all right. We're looking for my father, man. Well, we're down here, but he ain't here. I don't know if he faked or if he's late or something. I was wondering if you had got any messages or something. I thought you had faked on me, man. I was like, damn.
I ain't fake, man. I got jammed up in traffic. I got jammed up with the car. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right, man. Thanks, man.
The truck broke down, so I had to get some brakes on the truck. So I had to get the brakes on the truck, I had to drop the truck off.
Oh.
So I had 4 miles to go to get here, and I said, well, if I wait for the goddamn bus didn't show.
Right.
So I started trucking, and I'm trucking, and I'm trucking, and I'm trucking. 3.5 miles
You
later.
walked 4 miles?
Yeah, boy. Why not? And I was walking, what's the problem, man? Ain't you got tennis shoes on? What's the
Yeah,
problem,
I walked,
dude?
but I thought you was more like a, you know,
Trouble with us in the 60s, there wasn't enough father to talk to us to make us do the right thing, I think. I mean, older men look down at us and say, you should straighten up, you know. But no one ever sat down and said, think about what you're gonna do and think about the consequences of your action. No one ever sat down and told us that. You know, with us, it's just like a big party. We didn't take it seriously. Having kids, raising kids. We didn't take it serious. We just thought it was something that happened. Maybe I wasn't mature enough. Maybe I wasn't ready for it. And I see guys who have kids, and their lives are pretty full, you know, because they've had the relationship of their son. I'm just getting my relationship on with my son. I missed a lot of things in my life that I should have been involved in. I missed a lot of things, but I am ready now. Ain't that right? Mm-hmm. That's right. You say the right thing, kid. You'll be okay. Okay. One block down, right past Popeye.
All right, come. You gonna point it out?
I'm gonna point it out to you. I'm gonna tell you.
And one thing I learned from my stepfather and from my father by some of the stuff they didn't do was that, like, you know, you're gonna have some pain, you know what I'm saying, in this life. You know, some might be more, some might be less, but you're gonna have it. But the question is, how do you deal with it? And do you deal with it in a way that makes it more painful, or do you deal with it in a way that's healthy? My stepfather came into my life when I was about 7. For him, being a man, being a father was taking care of us financially. But what happened was that he still never really learned to really express himself. You know what I mean? So all his feelings he held inside. So he like be this cat that would just like walk around like, you know what I mean? Just like a bomb, man. You never knew what, you know, sometimes he'd come home, he'd be like in a real great mood, you know what I mean? And then it'd be cool. And sometimes he'd come home, he'd be just like, get out, good job doing, you know, just mad, man, like ready to explode and stuff. And that was crazy, you know. But what happened was later on in his life, he really got into drugs a lot. He was doing like crack and heroin, so he died, you know, he had a drug overdose, you know. And luckily I found like theater and music and stuff, or else I might have been similar to him. Yo, testing, 1, 2, how y'all doing today? Y'all sound like a studio audience. When I was really, really young, my grandparents and my mother, at their insistence, was really brought into the theater. And I was really taught how to let out my feelings and deal with my feelings in a really healthy, positive way.
When I was young, I used to like school. My daddy say, he say I'll still be a fool. So at 9, in the 3rd grade, I headed to the back of the class. Dreaming I was Dirty Harry whooping niggas' ass, right? Shit, make my day, I say. I started hanging with these sick fools around my way, show my daddy how tough I was.
One day, Will and I were in the bank on 125th Street. It's the same block as the Apollo. And we were in the line waiting, and Will was singing Old Man River in the stroller. And he was doing it very dramatic. And when he finished, the whole line clapped for him. So these people were some of his first audiences.
Well, they call me Pop. This here is my barbershop. And as you may be able to tell,
my piece is called The Gathering, and it deals with the meeting places of black men. And it deals with the importance of having these meeting places for black men to process, heal, support each other, and that kind of thing.
All right, I think the door's open. Hello? Hey, Shaq, how you doing, man? All right.
Good. It's good to see you.
How you doing, brother, man?
There was a host of men who, when I grew up, had positive impacts on me on different parts of my life. My mom put me in touch with a lot of strong males as role models. And I had my grandfather. That was just like who I looked to for my manhood.
It takes a village of men who might not be your biological father, who give you energy at a certain point in your life. I think about Terry's brother, Ricky, and Terry's friend, Bruce, who sat Will down in the kitchen and talked to him about college. And they were telling him about obstacles. They said, there are people going to pull you off your path. There's people who are going to be drinking and they're going to try to get you to drink. And you need to just stay on your path. And Will was like, oh, I know about that, man, you know, no problem. And the first week there was these frat parties and people were drinking, and he had one drink and then he remembered what they said. And he stayed on his path.
Keep on, make it up, keep it in, work it out, keep on, make it up, keep on, work it out, keep on, make it up, keep it in, work it out, keep on. You gotta, woo, keep on. You gotta keep,
What do you want to pass on, and how do you feel like you have to get square with your own sense of masculinity to pass on what you want to pass on to the next generation?
I like that. I mean, it sounds cliche, but like there's like a celebration of life, you know what I'm saying? Of human beings, we be dancing and singing and talking and eating good food, you know what I mean? And that's what it's about, you know? And that's kind of what I want to pass on. There's so much that's around that a lot of times prevents us from just having like simple, decent lives, you know? And I come from a history of like just incredible performers and writers and like people who express themselves and just a legacy. So it's like a serious thing. So I'm supposed to have fun and celebrate, but it's serious, you know what I mean? In serious terms, I can't waste my time, man.
Hey, look at this. Film is here in the middle of the slum.
Oh, yeah. They got them on Haven Film right now too, man.
Man, I remember the old days you had to write a bomb. I was definitely something done.
All right, so where's this first? All right, the Justice League over there, that used to be the Kennel Club. We used to play there all the time.
The Justice League?
Yeah, that was
the Justice League when I was a young man.
Well, it's probably something else. I know it's been...
The price that you pay for not taking care of business is very serious, and it can affect you for the rest of your life. My life was pretty screwed up, you know. But in William, I see all the things I wanted to be, you know. And I too don't like talking this kind of shit, man.
Hey, just let it out, man. It's cool.
Well, in William, I see all the kind of things I wanted to be myself. He always sees the good side of everybody. Everybody knows he has the good side. And I'm proud to turn out so good. He graduated college, got a wife, didn't get a hook on no drugs. You know, you seem to know what you want to do. I went through years not knowing what I wanted to do. And, you know, for years I thought myself was a failure, but I don't think that way no more about myself. I feel good about myself, and I feel good about William. He has made me feel good. And that's good.
Thanks, Pops. It's all about, like, you know, generations learning from each other. In the barbershop, it's the younger cat teaching the older cat. You know, so I'm trying to say that, like, older folks can learn from young folks, and younger folks can also have something to teach older folks. It's a cross-generational learning. I feel like I have a lot of a purpose, like, with a lot of youth, you know, and that's kind of how I see it. I don't even know if I'm going to have kids or not. We might. But my thing is more like, how can I pass on for the next generation, like they passed on for me? Breeze! Soup Breeze! His name was Breeze! Soup! His name Breeze! My father and my stepfather were like symbols for a bigger problem in the community where a lot of men have gone down that path of drugs or not being around and that kind of thing. So, but now I feel like I know I'm not like that. And I know I'm not perfect, and I don't have to be perfect. Whereas before, I used to feel like I had to be perfect in order to prove to everyone and myself that this wasn't me. For example, so if my wife and I were going through something, and she was making a comment, like she was criticizing me for something that I did, instead of just taking it in and agreeing or not agreeing and talking about it, I would really take it personally, like, you're trying to say I'm a bad person, you know, you're trying to say that I'm like, and I was real sensitive about it, where now I feel like I can be like, okay, I don't agree with that or I do agree with it, but it doesn't mean that I'm a bad man or a bad husband. You understand what I mean? I think it was really connected to that, of me trying to overachieve and be a really good man, which is good, but being worried that I wasn't. Marriage is one day at a time. And what I mean is that I'm in love with this person. It's just like your career. You take it step by step. You know, as an artist, I don't know how I'm gonna make a living a year and a half from now. I'm doing good, but I don't have that kind of security in that way. So it's like you just take it step by step and you trust you'll do the best you can and the Spirit and God will provide. And that's kind of how I feel about my marriage as well and about my life. And so I would assume that's how I would feel as it carries into fatherhood. But I don't know. The kids might come out and be like, you little bad asses. You little bad kids. I don't know.